Well, Mr. Entgrad, have you a copy of your resume with you?
I thought I did. I guess I must have forgotten it.
Can you tell me why you'd like to come to work here?
Just seems like a nice place to work. My house is really close to here. I could ride my bike to work.
Mr. Entgrad, have you any idea what we do here?
No, I was hoping you'd be able to tell me.
Well, I think I have enough information on you. Thank you for coming.
Do I get the job?
Frankly, Mr. Entgrad, we were looking for someone with a little more knowledge. Someone who knows at least enough to wear pants to an interview.
The worst thing that ever happened to me was a young man who came in and reached out his hand, and we shook hands, and he said, "There's a connection between us. I can feel it."
The worst thing I ever saw as an interviewer had to do with a young lady right off of a major university campus, very professional looking, seemed very well together when she came in, walked up, shook my hand. Her attaché case fell out from underneath her arm, knocked over my coffee, and from there it was downhill.
Another man came in once, and the very first thing he said to me that he was a nudist and he didn't want this job to get in the way of that.
Well, I guess the worst thing as far as the impression it made on me was someone who confused an interview with our company with one he had apparently just had or was going to have, and came into the office making a presentation. Really knew quite a bit about this company. It just didn't happen to be our company.
I suppose everyone entering the job market has nightmares about interviewing. The pressure is always on you to do well. Hopefully this tape will help to relieve some of that pressure by giving you some inside tips on job hunting and interviewing. During the next few minutes, you'll discover where the jobs are, how to avoid the mistakes everyone else makes, what to say to your interviewer, even what to wear. Remembering to wear it is up to you. This information was compiled by the XSELL team's experts in interview procedures. Their experience represents years of hiring personnel for some of the largest corporations in the country. In addition, you will also hear from individuals who are currently involved in hiring practices. They'll tell you the key things they look for in an interview and the main things to avoid. James Sullivan, Vice President, the XSELL team, and former Vice President and Manager with Bateman and Eichler.
For an individual that is just starting a job hunt today, I believe one of the most important qualities they can have while seeking that job is sincerity. The reason I mention that is when you get in front of a corporate interviewer or any individual with a company, they're going to be looking for someone who really wants the job as opposed to filling a slot.
Chuck Clark, Vice President, the XSELL team, and former sales manager for Xerox Production Center.
I think the first thing, that most important piece of advice I can give them is to focus on what they are seeking. What job exactly are they looking for? What abilities and skills do they have, and how that matches up to the job they want, and be able to verbalize that in a logical manner when you're interviewing. In other words, be well focused and well directed as to what kind of a job you're looking for, whether it be sales, engineering, or whatever field that you're involved in.
Lee Huff, President and Chief Executive Officer, the XSELL team, and former District Sales Manager for Xerox.
Is that it's extremely important that they be well prepared to interview. And that means that they understand what the job is that they're interviewing for. They understand what the company is, hopefully some of the background and information, so that they're confident and prepared to sit down face to face and discuss the opportunities.
Kurt Freitag, Chief Executive Officer for Management and Capital Corporation and President, Professional Services Resource Group.
First of all, make that process your job. That is, it's got to be a full-time occupation. If you're working at another job, make it your part-time job. And I'm mean that quite literally. Once you start your job search, you get up at 7:30 in the morning, you get dressed, and you go to work. And your work is finding a job. It's a little like constructing a whole sales and marketing program, a plan for your product, and your product is yourself.
Think of your job hunt as a sales and marketing venture. You are now the marketing manager of your most important product, yourself. Think about it. A good salesperson has to know his product and the market for his product. You have to know what your skills are and who out there might be able to use them. Any salesperson will tell you the most important aspect of the sale is being able to meet the customer face-to-face and give him his sales presentation. For you, the interview is the sales presentation. A salesperson calls it closing for the sale. You call it asking for the job. You see, there are a lot of similarities. To be successful at either one takes a full-time effort. We don't suggest you quit the job you might already have, but be aware job hunting is time-consuming. These inside secrets and tips will be a tremendous advantage for you, but it's still going to take a lot of hard work on your part to land that job. But you're going to get that job sooner because now you have the XSELL team on your side. So, let's get started. Here's your first inside secret. Avoid personnel departments whenever possible.
It's important for any job seeker to recognize that a personnel department isn't a personnel development department. That is, these aren't people going out and looking for good people in order to place within a large corporation. What they're doing is receiving resumes, and for particular job openings that they've been notified are open, and weeding out everyone who has the least demerit or smudge that would make him inapplicable for this particular job.
Here's secret number 2. Don't rely on the Sunday want ads for job leads.
The individual that may look into the newspaper and try to pull a job out of that, we're finding that less than 25% of the jobs that are filled from those newspaper want ads.
What you have to understand is for each job opening in the paper, there are probably 100 out there that nobody ever advertises. When most applicants think of a company they would like to work with, obviously names of big companies pop into their heads. The big 8 accounting firms, the IBMs, the Xeroxes, the General Motors, what have you, these are the companies that everyone's familiar with. The fact of the matter is that in job growth in a typical year, those industries that are small business oriented are growing in job openings at twice the rate of the industries that are large business oriented. Let me make a third point, and that is that in small businesses you can readily get to the person who, as you sit across from him, can say, "You've got the job, you're starting tomorrow."
Let's discuss some important points regarding your job hunt. You must specify your job requirements to a particular area. For example, instead of saying you're looking for a job in accounting, say auditing. No one's looking for a jack of all trades. They want someone to fill a specific need. When someone asks you what you do, the last thing he or she wants to hear is, "I can do anything." Specific objectives should be reflected in your resume. Let's talk a moment about resumes. How important are they? Just listen. Rita Schaefer, Vice President, McDougall-Littell Publishing.
And I need to be able, on a resume, to find the information that I need. I don't want to have to look through 32 pages of information for me to find out what former GPA was, or what his objectives are, or what his or her former employment status was. I need to be able to find the information fast.
There are obviously good resumes and bad resumes, and things you want to include and things you don't want to include, but it's important to keep in mind that a resume is not going to get you a job. It may lose you a job.
Always have a resume professionally printed on good paper stock. Have everything that relates to your qualifications and experience on your resume. Be sure there are no lapses in time. Resumes do get attention. Just as the salesperson has to advertise, you have to promote yourself. The resume helps you advertise you. A salesperson who doesn't advertise his product misses out on a lot of sales. To get a job, let people know you're in the job market and what kind of work you're looking for. A lot of people will get the addresses of all the companies that might even remotely have use for their skills and fire off resumes to all of them. This is known as the shotgun method. They think by throwing enough resumes out there, the odds are they'll get 2 or 3 interviews and 1 job offer. Most unsolicited letters or resumes go to the personnel department. And what do you want to avoid? Personnel departments. Here's another inside secret. Tell everybody you know you're job hunting and exactly what you're looking for. Tell friends, relatives, neighbors, former teachers in college and high school, everybody you can think of. Pretty soon you'll start to hear about someone's Uncle Jack who's in that business, or a friend of a friend who does the same kind of work. Ask permission to call these people using your contact's name. Any salesperson will tell you one of the most important things about selling a product is meeting your customer face-to-face to give the sales pitch. You want the same thing, a chance to meet the employer one-on-one and give your sales pitch, the reasons why you should be hired. This is your next secret. Contact the referrals you get from your family and friends and ask to meet with them to discuss the industry and to get some valuable information. Impress upon them that this is not a job interview. It's what we refer to as the non-interview interview. Here is what to say when you contact these people.
Hello, Mr. Ployer. My name is Reese Entgrad. I'm a friend of your niece, Susan. I'm considering a career in accounting, and Susan suggested I might give you a call for information. I was wondering if I could have just 15 minutes of your time to ask you a few questions.
The first thing you're going to hear is,
Well, Reese, I can tell you right now, we're not really looking for anybody at this time.
and you will truthfully reply,
That's okay. I'm not looking for a job right now. Actually, I'm just looking for information about the industry. I promise not to ask you for a job at this time.
Your friend's Uncle Jack should be happy to meet you and share his knowledge. Most people enjoy talking about their work and are flattered to be asked questions as experts in the field. Remember to keep it brief and not to ask for a job at this time. Don't go back on your word. You have a lot of work to do before you meet him. You want to be able to talk knowledgeably with Uncle Jack and impress him with what you know. Where do you find information? A great number of resources are available to you at your local library. The library will be a key research avenue for you, but that's just the beginning. There are other paths to gather important information.
Some of the places an individual can look when they are researching a company, besides just using the library, would be first employees of that company. These are the people that can tell you what is going on politically with the company, business-wise. These are the people that will be close to the hiring part of that company. Second, a good source would be the competition of that company. Find out what type of image that corporation has in the community. Third would be Standard & Poor's. To get a good business synopsis of that corporation, that's an excellent source. And fourth, you would probably be looking at the Better Business Bureau, just to find out how they rank in the community, what types of complaints, any good things you can find out about the company.
Your interviewer will be impressed when you say,
I noticed in your company's annual report that earnings were up 5% from the previous year. What do you think was most responsible for that increase?
a good salesperson knows how to demonstrate the customer's need for his product. You have to do the same thing. By finding out what needs the company has, you can show how you can help solve these problems. Also, find out who has the authority to hire. The advantages to this initial non-interview interview are, number one, you're in control. You get to ask the questions. Number two, there is less pressure since you aren't interviewing for a job. You're able to relax. Number three, the employer will be more open with you. You've flattered him by asking his advice. After your non-interview interview, send off a letter of thanks immediately. There's an example at the end of this tape of a thank you letter for you to use as a standard to follow. If you're interested in asking him for a job with his firm, call him and ask if you can visit him again. Bring a resume with you this time. If he is not the person who does the hiring for his company, ask his permission to use his name when you contact the person who does. When you get the interview, you've accomplished the most important goal in a sales campaign. a chance to present yourself face to face with your customer and convince him or her how you will benefit the company. We've all heard the cliche, you never get a second chance to make a first impression. It's true. How you perceive someone is based on that first meeting. The following information is designed to help you make a good first impression. There are some basic rules you should obey. Most important is, dress conservatively. Here are the guidelines for the men. A navy blue or gray suit, a white long-sleeve shirt, a coordinated silk tie, black dress shoes, a briefcase, a gold or silver watch. Here are the guidelines for women. A matched suit of solid colors, simple jewelry, a purse or attaché case. Be prepared to invest some money on your wardrobe. Your appearance is a great part of that first impression. Now, let's consider body language. Here are some simple rules to follow. A good firm handshake is important. Don't cross your arms or legs. Don't tap your feet or fingers. Be conscious of nervous habits. Maintain eye contact. Smile. Remember, body language is also a significant part of the first impression. Here are some other rules to follow. Don't call your interviewer by a first name unless you're invited to. Be on time. Give yourself plenty of time to travel to the interview. Do a dry run the day before your interview so you know exactly where the building is located, the availability of parking, and any other obstacles that might arise.
Why should I hire you for this position?
I think my experience
and education
make me the perfect choice.
For this position, I'm unique.
We've arrived at the most important point of all, the interview. No one knows exactly what will happen in the interview, but there are certain questions that come up in all interviews, in one form or another, and you should be prepared to answer them. What's more important than the question is the reason it's being asked. There are 7 key factors you should consider when answering a question.
The first one is aggressiveness and enthusiasm. And the interviewer will be stating the questions to try to bring out those qualities in the individual. The second is communication skills. And that actually is the easiest one for the interviewer to evaluate because, in fact, that's what they're doing with the applicant. They're communicating. The third is the record of success. And what they are trying to determine here is their record of achieving better than average results. The fourth one is rational thought process. And what the interviewer is looking for there is for the individual to answer questions in a logical thought process. The fifth one is maturity, and what the interviewer is looking for there is the applicant's ability to change or to react to changes in their environment, work environment. The sixth is planning, and the interviewer in that situation is trying to find out how well they have organized themselves and taken a look at their future and whether that future be a day or a week. The last is reaction to pressure. And what the interviewer is looking for there is their ability to rebound from any setbacks they may have had, so they'll put them in difficult situations.
Let's take a look now at some examples. See if you can catch the mistakes. Here's his first mistake. He probably thinks he is dressed right, but he hasn't dressed to impress. Remember, dress conservatively. She's dressed okay, but remember, women shouldn't carry both a purse and an attaché. She also is wearing too much jewelry.
Hello, I'm Jack Ployer.
Hi, Jack. Nice to meet you.
Remember, no first names.
Hello, I'm Jack Ployer.
Hello, Mr. Ployer. I'm Reese Entgrad.
Have a seat, Reese, and we'll get started. So, you're interested in coming to work for us here?
Yes?
Don't just give a one-word answer.
Yes, sir. I'm very much interested in working for your company.
Why do you feel you can be successful in this job?
Exactly what I've been trained to do.
This question is designed to determine the candidate's aggressiveness and enthusiasm.
Why do you feel you can be successful in this job?
I feel I could be successful in this position mostly because I have the training and the qualifications to do a good job. I think it's important to do more, though. I'm motivated by challenge.
What are you looking for in a job?
Well, just like anyone else, I have bills to pay, so it's important that the job pays enough.
This question falls under the category of rational thought process. He's probing for comprehension and logic.
What are you looking for in a job?
Well, I know I'm not going to be able to move right into a position of authority. I'm going to have to work my way to that point. I suppose then the most important thing would be a job that would allow me the opportunity for growth.
How do you go about influencing someone to accept your ideas?
Gosh, I suppose...
Remember to be conscious of nervous habits. These can detract from your rating no matter how well you answer the question. This question, by the way, is probing the candidate's communications skills.
How do you go about influencing people?
I think you have to be able to communicate your ideas in a clear and logical manner to be certain that your views are understood. Along the same lines, I think you have to be able to listen to the other person to find out why they might not accept your ideas.
Tell me, Reese, what do you consider to be your greatest accomplishment?
Just getting through school.
This isn't the time for joking. The interviewer wants to know about his record of success.
What's your greatest accomplishment?
I really feel proud that I put myself through college. I saved money from my after-school job in high school, and I also worked in various jobs throughout college.
What's your greatest disappointment, and how did you respond to it?
I went out for the baseball team at school and only made second string. That really bummed me out, and I decided not to play.
He's checking for maturity. That answer spoke volumes.
What's your biggest disappointment, and how did you respond to it?
Well, I ran for president of the marketing club, and I wasn't selected. I was very disappointed by that, but I realized I could still serve a purpose in other ways, so I volunteered to chair 2 different committees, and I found that to be just as rewarding.
That was a good answer, because it not only fit the category of maturity, but she was able to relate it to aggressiveness and enthusiasm, rational thought process, and reaction to pressure and change.
What do you do when you know you're right and others disagree with you?
Well, I'm old enough to know that there are some people who always have to have their own way, so I just keep quiet.
Here, the interviewer is probing for reaction to pressure and change.
What do you do when you know you're right and others disagree with you?
Well, I think it really goes back to the question you asked earlier about influencing other people with my ideas. First of all, I would be certain that I made myself clear. If they still disagree, I would adapt my thinking and make the best of it.
How did you prepare for this interview?
I made sure I got a good night's sleep.
Remember, tie all your answers to one of the 7 key evaluation factors. This one falls under planning and organizing abilities.
How did you prepare for this interview?
I wanted to be certain I could speak knowledgeably about your company, so I went to the library to do some research. I also obtained a copy of your annual report, and I tried to anticipate some of the things you might ask about me so I could be prepared to give you a complete answer.
Do you have any questions for me at this time?
No.
How much does the job pay?
Do you validate these parking tickets?
Nearly every interview ends with this question. Try to show that you've done some thinking about the position. Always have some pertinent question to ask.
Do you have any questions for me?
Can you tell me what you perceive to be the greatest challenge I'll face in this position?
Good answer. It covers several of the key factors and lets the interviewer know you're interested in the position.
Well, I'll be reviewing the applications, and my secretary will call those candidates we want to see for a second interview.
I certainly hope you'll consider me. I truly believe I'm the right person for the job.
Be sure you finish by letting the interviewer know you're interested in the job. Now, here's where most people stop. Most job hunters go home after the interview and wait to be called. If they weren't selected, they start the process all over. Here's what you'll do. Immediately after the interview, you should send a note to your interviewer thanking him or her for giving you the opportunity to apply for the position. A sample letter follows this program. This is a good time to add something you may have forgotten to say during the interview. You should again ask for the position in your letter. Follow it up in a day or 2 with a phone call and again ask for the job. If you are not selected for the job, don't stop here either. call the person you interviewed with and ask if you can come in and speak with him or her. Here are the reasons for setting up this meeting. It's quite possible the person who received the job offer changed his or her mind, and suddenly the position has reopened. Or maybe another position has opened unexpectedly. People are in transition constantly. Who will they think of for that unexpected opening? Probably the person who showed the initiative to follow up. If the job hasn't reopened and nobody has retired or quit unexpectedly, ask the interviewer if he or she knows of any openings elsewhere and who you might contact. Suddenly, you'll have more people helping you to find a job. It doesn't stop here either. After 2 weeks, call the person again and ask if there have been any changes resulting in an opening within the company. Don't end communications with anyone until you have a job. Looking for a job takes a full-time effort. You have to work at it constantly. On the same day you have an actual interview, you may also be having a follow-up meeting with someone else. You might also be scheduled to make a few calls to companies you interviewed with weeks ago. Here's a suggestion. Get a large calendar to keep track of your schedule. There should be 2 kinds of entries on the calendar each day, things to do and things you've accomplished. Keep track of all the times you contact someone and make a note when you should call again. Make a note of letters you've sent, replies you've received, appointments, phone calls, and interviews. If you look at your calendar and see a lot of empty spaces, you'll know you could be doing more.
There is no cause to be discouraged at any point in the process because you are doing the job. I mean, you are doing the job that you set out to, which is doing your interviews and following up. If you do it resolutely, there is no chance that you're going to fail. There really isn't. Ultimately, it will pay off. And it will also put you in a position to be able to choose among the types of things that are out there for you to do. I would guess that on average, if somebody follows this process and works through it diligently for 3 months, he will probably have had at least half a dozen job offers. He may have taken none of them. They weren't what he wanted.
Now, let's review the minimum number of times you'll have contact with each company. First, the call to a contact, Uncle Jack, for example. Second, the non-interview interview. Third, the thank you note for the meeting. Fourth, a call asking for an actual interview. Fifth, the interview. Sixth, the thank you note after the interview. Seventh, call to again ask for the job. Eighth, if not hired, you call for a follow-up appointment. Ninth, meet with the interviewer for advice. 10th, 2 weeks later, call again to see if there have been any changes. That's 10 times you've communicated with this one company, and it should keep going until you have a job. I guarantee you they're going to remember your name the next time there's an opening. One more suggestion to help you. Have someone monitor your activities. Have them watch this tape so they know just what you're doing to get your job. Give them permission to check your daily schedule to see if you're doing everything you should. Practice your answers to the interview questions with them. Now, let's quickly review the inside secrets you must follow to get that job. 1. Avoid personnel departments. 2. Don't rely on Sunday want ads. 3. Specify job requirements. 4. A professionally printed resume. 5. Tell everyone you're in the job market. 6. The non-interview interview. 7. Call for follow-up appointment. 8. Monitor your activities. 9. Ask a friend to help. And 10. Practice your answers. Review this tape frequently and keep it around even after you get a job. Statistics show the average person remains in one job only 5 years. You may find yourself in the same spot again.
So tell me, why do you want to work here?
It's hard work, but now you have the inside secrets you need to help you get the job you want. Remember, you're not alone. You have the XSELL team on your side. Use this as a guideline for your thank you letters.